Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Got another Nubeo watch for you, and this one I've been waiting on for quite some time now. This is one of their higher priced versions, and this is a Tourbillon. So those who are not familiar with the Tourbillon, I am not a watch expert by any means, so I'm not going to Google what you can Google as a grown adult. Check it out. I believe a Tourbillon has, it's a different design movement that has something to do with the way that the movement counteracts gravity and making the watch more accurate or the movement more accurate. Prior to, like last couple of years, I don't think you can get a Tourbillon for under like $3,000, $4,000. Nowadays, we do have some Tourbillons that are coming out that are using kind of like, I believe, like a Chinese branded tourbillon movement. Remember, there's not much of a difference. Like, this is not, there was a time when making movements like this were extremely difficult and extremely complicated. This has been done for a very long time, hence the reason why you can buy a tourbillon in that $1,000 price point, depending on brand. You won't get this one for that price point, but this one is absolutely stunning. We see a lot of other companies doing stuff like this, like Aragon lately has been doing more tourbillons, very similar to the design of this. This is called the Supermassive. Now, don't get it twisted. It's not massive like a giant sea hunter. The Supermassive is a name given to this because the Nubeo watches are actually space themed and sea themed. So let me just read you about this watch, then we'll talk about it. I'll throw a picture up here so you can stay engaged. All right, so a remarkable, stunning timepiece. Of course, that is subjective. The Supermassive Tourbillon Limited Edition is inspired by the colossal weight and size of a supermassive black hole. Now, don't get it twisted. When I say that, you might say, oh yeah, I can kind of see the movements in the middle. You have that tourbillon right in the center of the watch. It's black, got some carbon fiber in the middle. I see the black hole kind of theme. They do make this a different color. So this is just a black variation. We're gonna get to that. So it says here, its mass is on the order of hundreds of thousands or millions to billions of times the mass of the sun. A centrally positioned tourbillon mimics the sheer gravitational force of the black hole with carefully positioned hour and minute hands designed to echo celestial bodies in space, pulled even closer by the mysterious power force of the universe. I like this theme on this. Each handmade piece, I'm not sure about that. Each handmade timepiece is a marvel of the finest, most rarefied degrees of watchmaking. I don't think many watches are handmade. Now, there might be a little hand layup in this, but I wish they would get that out of there. But just so you guys know, this is my opinion. I could be totally wrong, but I do like the theme on this here. I dig that they put it right in the center. I think that this is where Nubeo shined on this one as far as tying the theme in, the description in. Because when I read that, I'm like, oh yeah, I feel that. With the way that the hands are, if you look at this, the minute and hour hands are round. I think kind of like what you'd kind of associate with like a planet or a moon orbiting around this black hole, being sucked in. I like they have that carbon fiber in the middle there. I don't know if you can see that by the video. The pictures, you'll be able to see it. Very cool. And that tourbillon, let me just give this a little bit of a wind here. Now, these are not automatic tourbillons. Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. This is an automatic tourbillon. A lot of the tourbillons that I've seen in these price points, more affordable lines, generally are hand wind only. If you check out the video I did on the, what's the other tourbillon I did? Forget, more of a dress style tourbillon. That's hand wind only. I'm actually surprised this is actually an automatic tourbillon. Hence the price point on this one here. You're definitely going to pay more for this one. This is normally $4,800. Again, price point, right now they have it on special for $3,120. But there's also a Black Friday sale they have here. And let me just see what happens when I add it to the cart. Now, see, this is nice. This is what I'm talking about, Nubeo. It's 50% off right now, and you may be able to use my Fat Cat Collection 15, Fat Cat 15 coupon code on this to get another 15% off. Try it. I don't know if they'll do that in conjunction with the 50, but right now it's on sale for $15.60. That's what I would expect to pay for a tourbillon that's more of a Chinese branded style tourbillon. I do have a movement list here, and I just want to share that with you guys real quick here. Just so you guys, I wasn't too familiar with the brand name on this here, on movement, but let me just see so you guys are aware. Where is it? What did I do with it? Okay, so that movement is the 3JZ20 by PTS. They just list here on their website, this is a two-hand plus 25, negative 25 seconds per day, 38-hour power reserve, 28,800 beats per hour. It's a centrally located tourbillon, which means the tourbillon is in the center of the movement. That's what they're using it. That's about it. I don't know what else I could say about the movement because they just don't have a lot of information listed on here. Again, I'll put the link to their movement page, their tourbillon specific movement page, and you can just kind of, you know, take a closer peek here, see if you find something that maybe I missed. But this is just another movement company making affordable Chinese branded movements. And let's face it, you know, these things have been around for a very long time. So it's great that companies are doing this and allowing people, average people, to be able to afford watches where they normally wouldn't be able to afford. Now, I think the only person that really would buy a tourbillon, you have to kind of be into watches. I don't think the average person is just going to be like, oh, I need to have a tourbillon, because I don't think it's going to give you anything more than just a standard NH35 or any of the other hundreds of different automatic movements on the market will give you. Somebody who buys a tourbillon is really just going to know, you have to kind of be a watch guy to even notice that, right? It's just something that I think a lot of folks in the watch community are going to say, oh, you know, I have an automatic, or I have this brand or that brand. I really want a tourbillon now. And I'm one of those guys too. I just probably wouldn't have spent the money on one just because I have that kind of sweet spot for what I'll spend money on. But very nice that Nubeo collaborates with me and I'm able to get these in my collection. So let's take a closer look here. Check out that center, the tourbillon slowly. If you look at that kind of those three blue points, if you want to dumb it down for you, that's basically part of the, I don't know what part of the watch that is, but that's part of the movement that's rotating around the balance wheel. And you won't see that on a non-tourbillon watch. You will see a lot of guys, you look on eBay and Amazon, a lot of folks will state this watch is a tourbillon because it has that particular kind of piece, that three-pointed piece of metal. A lot of times when they say that, they're selling a watch for like $100, and that's just basically fake tourbillon. So kind of be careful in that. When you buy a tourbillon, it doesn't mean that just because you can see the balance wheel rotating away or oscillating away that you're getting a tourbillon. It has to actually be a tourbillon movement, if that makes any sense. So, all right, so what else do you get with this? Very cool story. The other specifications, check boxes for me. Do I like it? Absolutely. Totally dig the black on this. The black bezel, very cool. If you haven't checked out the other video review I did on Nubeo's other tourbillon, I forget which model it is. That one's all skeletonized. Very cool looking watch as well. That one is not, to the best of my memory, an automatic tourbillon. So this is my very first automatic tourbillon in my collection. I'm going to wear this today. 18.3 millimeter case thickness, has a nice kind of donut style case. Reminds me of almost like the Invicta Thunderbolt that I reviewed back in the day. Has kind of like that flying saucer kind of donut inner tube ring style case. Do have a signed crown to Nubeo logo. Unidirectional rotating bezel. This bezel on this is definitely a snug, very tight bezel. But again, rotates with ease, no problems there. Nice and tight bezel action. It's not like flopping around anywhere. There is no movement that I could tell, no front and back play. Again, totally dig the hands on this. I think this is very unique, the way they did these hands. You just have those two round circles, and very easy to look at this and tell time, although I never really care. So I have to stare at the watch for like 5 seconds to even tell what time it is. So, but very cool. 20 ATMs of water resistance. You get that anti-reflective sapphire coating, and it says here 28 millimeter stainless steel fold over buckle with safety clasp. Again, milled clasp on all the Nubeo watches, at least that I have in my collection. 3 levels of micro adjustment and safety lock. And just kind of an interesting 3-link bracelet, a little bit of mirror polishing on the edges. Very cool. Screw down crown. Awesome looking watch. Again, I don't know if I mentioned it, 20 ATMs of water resistance, and you have that automatic tourbillon movement. Check that out. Very, very cool. Very excited to get this one here. All right, so as far as the other color combinations you can get, they do have the black with rose tone bezel. You do have the blue. I kind of was back and forth between the blue and the black. You have the green, which has got a stainless steel bezel. The gold, which has a black face, gold hands, and of course a gold bezel. And then this one is the carbon black. Full disclosure, I probably would have chose, I like the stone green variation just because it has, I prefer a stainless steel bezel over the black bezel. but that was green, and I think that they should have made this one as well with that plain old stainless steel bezel with a black face. But, you know, like I said, none of these watches are deal breakers for me. They're all beautiful, and I think my next favorite to this would be that blue. It's kind of a nice pale blue, just a great looking piece as well. Again, link in the description. You guys check it out. Tell me which one you like more. But if you are going to pick one of these up, I encourage you to do it during this Black Friday sale. You're probably not going to see these for this price point ever again. As far as the limited edition, they have limited this to, see if they say it on here, only, I thought I was reading that wrong. Is that right? 30. That can't be right. I'm surprised they would send me one of these if it's only limited to 30. You think they would mention that on here? That's actually pretty surprising. I didn't think that these are that limited edition. That to me is a real limited edition watch. Very surprising. I gotta look at that again. Make sure I don't need glasses here. This is number 2 of 30. That's surprising to me. Wow, I'm a little taken back by that. Thank you, Nubeo. It's been a pleasure. So 30 pieces. Now 29. So definitely pick this up if you are a Nubeo collector or you just want a very limited edition run watch. I don't know, of all the years I've been reviewing watches, that I've ever seen, and I'm sure they're out there, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen a limited edition timepiece limited to 30. That is not a lot. I'm going to have to double check that. But I'm going to have it on there. Let's see if they have it on there, the specifications they gave me. I don't think they list that on here, but I don't think they do. Yeah, I'm not seeing that listed, but it says 030 on the back. So very interesting. As far as the back, we do have a kind of a blue exhibition window. I call that like a furnace blue tint. And we do have, I don't know if you can see it, but there's kind of like a pencil sketch of like a black hole, kind of like going into a black hole. So pretty cool. I'll try to throw that up in the screen here so you guys can see it. But very stunning piece. I'm actually just a little taken back by how limited this is. Pick it up. These are not going to last, especially at this Black Friday price point. So I did not size this yet, but I am going to throw it in the wrist. I'm about 5'8". I weigh about 175 pounds. And I have a 7-inch wrist. So this is what this watch is going to look like on a guy my size, my height, my weight. And if I didn't mention already, this is a 48mm watch. Now, if I had to guess by looking at this, I would not have said 48mm. I really would have said 50. For some reason, it just wears larger. I'm not sure if that's because of the big hefty bracelet on it, but it definitely has a much larger feel on the wrist. Just a stunning piece. Oh, if I should have sized this before the video. See how... Do you see how impatient I am? I'm like a kid in a candy shop with these watches. I can't get enough. The addiction is real. I mean, I don't know. I'm just ridiculous. But anyway, to me, it feels more like a 50mm watch. You know, when I compare this to like an Invicta, 47mm Grand Diver, this just feels a lot larger. But just like I said, I don't know what else to say about it other than that super limited edition. It's a very cool piece. And if you are a guy who really appreciates limited edition watches and just a variety in your collection, you're going to want to pick one of these up. I think if you don't pick up, I like a lot of the Nubeo watches. Their prices are incredible a lot of times, especially right now. They got watches at $200 price point. You just have to kind of watch when they're going on sale. But I'll tell you, if it's in your budget and you haven't picked up a Nubeo watch already, this is your opportunity to pick up an incredible automatic Tourbillon movement that is super limited edition. And I think anybody out there wants things that are a little bit limited, more limited. And how cool is it, you know, for all you folks that go on your Invicta cruises, right? You're going to bump into people with the same watch. There's not a lot of limited editions out there. Even Nubeo, they'll do their 1,000-piece limited edition watch. That's not really all that limited. Something like this, you're going to get, and most people are not going to have this. So pretty cool. So if I can help in any way, drop me a comment or drop me an email. I've given you some information. I'm going to put a link to this spreadsheet in the description as well so you can check out some of the other specs, although I did mention them already. I've probably thrown them off the screen here. I also encourage you as well, because I probably won't get my hands on one by the time they're sold out. If you are an 80s kid and you liked 80s, if you are a gamer, perfect few gamers out there, Remember the game Space Invaders? They have a Space Invaders collaboration on one of their Magellans. Check that out as well. The price in that's in the 200s right now. What a great watch for a gamer to throw on the wrist. I like when brands like this kind of try to build bridges between different things that people are into, you know. It's just like you may have a guy who's really into video games, really into the old school 80s stuff, even collecting toys from the 80s. It really kind of builds a bridge between one collection, one type of style of collection and another, and it might get somebody into collecting watches, which I think is pretty cool. So if that made any sense how I worded that. So anyway, guys, too much turkey. Anyway, guys, have a great day and take care.